What it do, Jab Turkeys?
Gotta watch it. We watched Saraconic or something like that. Saronic. It's a movie with Anthony Mackie that's on Netflix.
How was it?
It's really good. It's this movie where he takes drugs and it puts him back in time.
I heard something about this. Him
Yeah.
and a friend, and they can go back so far, and he's going to rescue his
Rescue
friend's
it.
daughter.
Friend's daughter. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of artsy and it's serious at times. It's not one that you would rewatch, but it's actually pretty good. Like the concept of it, like he's just obviously Anthony Mackie's black, so every time he goes back in the past, he's definitely in a spot he's not welcomed.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, I'm
very
so
interesting.
tired. I'm so tired of people talking about race, dude. Jeez, it's over already.
Yeah. Racism was cured when Obama got to office.
So for those of you guys that can't tell, I am being hyperbolic. That is the insane stuff that only ever white people say in regards to the MCU. Race has never been a problem in the MCU. Why are they even bringing it up now? It's bad storytelling.
Someone actually said that?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I did reviews for Falcon and Winter Soldier on Holden's channel, and first we got problems because I was like, there's no way Anthony Mackie would not be able to get money or Sam Wilson would not be able to get money as the Falcon. And so people are like, you guys are racist for that. And
They
I was
said
like,
that?
look,
Wow.
I mean, some people, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I don't want to overgeneralize. There were many comments in the comment section that were like, you just don't understand race in America. And I'm like, you're right. You're 100% right. Maybe I'm wrong and he wouldn't be able to get funding, but I'm just thinking about like, what are GoFundMe's or some shit. Like,
dude, you
like,
put a GoFundMe out for any celebrity like that, that's saving the world.
yeah.
Literally was the reason that your people are back from dead. I'm pretty sure they're set for life.
Somebody's gonna throw you a bone. Now I understand they were using it as an opportunity to talk about shit that's happening in the real world, and I'm okay with that. And and I think that's what turned people off, is the fact that they were using it as an opportunity to talk about stuff that was going on in the real world, because it's like this show's going on at the same time as the Derek Chauvin trials, and there are people in the comment section that are like, you know, why are you shoving race down our throats? And it's like, just because you've never had to deal with it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna go on the train and say that the race stuff has been over the top lately. I mean, we've gotten a lot of more social commentary stuff when it comes to race, like in pop culture and media in general. But I guess my issue is I love, as you know, I'm a big fan of future movies or time travel movies, especially looking into the future.
Yeah, you are.
I love the thoughts of where life is going or what's going to happen. I'm a futurist at mind.
Yes.
I think the problem sometimes when we talk about race, we do tend to stay in the past. Granted, we have to talk about the past in order to talk about the future and the changes we are with life. But sometimes when we have these conversations about race, we do focus too much in the past. Like, remember the 60s, remember the 18-somethings. I don't want to forget that. Like 9/11, don't forget. I don't want to forget that. But we have to have a different strategy on changing things. And we can't focus too much on that. I don't know. That might, I might be called a coon on that one. A lot of black people might disagree with that. But I'm all about change too. Black Lives Matter, all that stuff. But sometimes it does get lost in the conversation when we focus too much on the past.
I think that's an interesting point. And I also feel like it's a kind of, it's a cultural question worth asking. And I certainly am not one to say what's right and wrong, but in a way, just to tie it to pop culture, like Isaiah Bradley very much represents the scars of the past, that resentment that he's holding on to for, generations of systematic oppression of a group of people. He saw the worst of racism and what it does to people. And then Sam,
untold stories,
that change, like exactly what you were saying. He's like, yes, we have to acknowledge all that. That is part of who we are, but we also can be the difference that we want the world to see us as, because you and I both like Double Toasted, and Corey over there has mentioned it a couple times, and it's always kind of got my gears turning, this idea of struggle movies being the thing that represent Black audiences constantly, and that every time you see a movie, it shouldn't have to be people in chains and people getting whipped. And that's a great thing about seeing Sam as Captain America, is like, this is positive. This isn't all that. And the fact that people think it was heavy-handed, granted that speech at the end was fucking heavy-handed, but that the show was heavy-handed, I think is, I don't know, man. Obviously, Marvel's not going to be able to present the solutions to systemic racism, but the fact that they even addressed it so that younger audience members could see it is great.
Very bold, very bold. I like where this conversation is going, because another thing I wanted to say is, like, on the other side of that, though, like you just said with Isaiah Bradley, is there's history that's not told. Like, my gripe was, like, you know, we're always talking about slavery, we're always talking about segregation, and, you know, it is, even for a Black person, it's just like, it's kind of exhausting to just keep talking about this topic. But like with Isaiah Bradley, there's the Tuskegee Project that people don't know about.
Tuskegee syphilis experiments.
That's not taught in schools, baby. There's a lot of, like, you know, Emmett Till. I didn't learn about Emmett Till till I was an adult. You know, there's a lot of, like, crazy racist stuff in our country that is not taught in schools. Am I okay with that coming out? Absolutely. We do need to, you know, a lot of this stuff is unanswered questions that need to be addressed. There's a lot of uneducated minds out there that don't know how serious racism has been in this country. To ignore it would be an issue. So that's the other side of that, I guess. Like, maybe talk about things that people don't know about. Like, we do know about slavery. We do know about that. And to say what you said about Corey's stuff, about, like, the Black struggle being, like, a monumental thing in Black movies, that is kind of annoying. I mean, that's why I love Black Panther, because that's not the issue in the movie.
Yeah.
That's why I do like, you know, what we were talking about with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, it was about the future. It was about, like, doing other things. So I've campaigned a lot on this channel. Like, I want to see more Blacks as doctors, lawyers, you know, successful roles, everyday struggle of an American, or everyday struggle as a human being. You know, just to be focused on, like, oh, the police are holding me back, or, like, the man's holding me back, and, like, the guy down the road, she's a Karen, or all that stuff. The guy down the road, she's a Karen. That's the difference.
Yeah,
that's transgenders. Yeah. But no,
we're okay with it.
We're okay with that here at the Controversy.
Yes.
But no, I see. At that point of, like, everything's got to be a struggle. Like, everything's got to be we shall overcome moment. It is kind of getting a little bit annoying, and I know people might not agree with that, but I'm kind of getting annoyed by it.
I mean, to have that and then to have something else would be great. Like, to have that and then to have the other shit would be fantastic. To only have that, it's like, well, yeah, I guess I'll go see the new struggle movie, because what other Black movie is there right now? And I feel like white Americans, and a lot of Americans, even, I would go so far as to say people that aren't white Americans, have a very Eurocentric view of the world. And if a movie is made for a Black audience, there are people that feel like it is to cast judgment or to make a statement to them. Like, if like I said, a movie where Sam Wilson, a TV show where Sam Wilson ends up being Captain America, it's not a statement to white people. No. It's a statement for Black people. And I feel like, and it can be a staple for everybody. It absolutely is. But my point is, like, it's to inspire a new generation of children to have a hero to look up to that looks like them, as opposed to saying, white people, you don't get a white Captain America anymore. It's not about taking away from one person to give it to another. It's just about saying, like, here, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm you're out right. To lunch.
As a kid, dude, I wanted to be the White Ranger. I wanted to be the Green Ranger. I wanted to be a Red Ranger. As the only Black person on the playground, I was forced to be the Black Ranger every time. And nothing against the Black Ranger. He was pretty cool, but it's just like, you know, as a kid, you seem like you're limited to certain roles. You got to be that Black sidekick. I mean, it was cool to be Will Smith when I played Men in Black with my white friend, but you know, other than that, though, like, a lot of the lead looks were look at the first five Avengers, all white. You know, it's definitely changing now, but like.
And people would be like, but Rhodey was never, nobody ever had a problem with Rhodey's race. And it's like, no, nobody ever did have a problem with Rhodey's race in the series.
Secondary character.
Correct.
Like, we want we want to be in the spotlight too. We want to be in the forefront.
Whatever was going on in Rhodey's day-to-day life, we did not see. He only functioned as a extension of Iron Man's character. So that's the difference to me, is like, maybe racism was a fucking problem in Rhodey's life. We just never saw it because he was delegated to being a B-string member of the Avengers, and that's fine. And I love that character, and I don't mean that as a disrespectful thing at all. But now that we're focusing on characters that I don't know, man, to be honest, and maybe you've heard more of it than I have, but I felt like Black Panther was pretty universally liked.
It was. Yeah. I think the only issue I have with Black Panther was some of the CGI, but like when it comes to the content in the movie, like Ryan Coogler told an amazing story regardless of like what the content was. It was great story writing. Yeah. You know, coming from both sides of like family trauma. I guess my main point of everything I just said is I'm all for diversity. There's people that when you hear the word diversity, they want to kill themselves for some reason. Yeah. Not the worst thing in the world.
It's an affront to them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I'm like, my thing is I'm pushing for great diversity, not forced diversity, but I'm all for diversity, you know, telling these different stories from different opinions and having them in the forefront. I guess the biggest point I was making out of all this, like, the content shouldn't always be stereotypical to that person's race.
Yeah.
I hopefully my smart listeners right now can understand the difference when I'm talking about.
I think you made your case really well. I think this is a good opportunity to ask real quick, because we are right here bumping up against the topic. Yeah. What about Black Superman? Does Black Superman stay a farm boy from Kansas, or do we switch it up and risk the fear of kind of pandering? Now I'm saying he can be Clark, or Black Superman can be black. Do we change his origin story to make him an inner city African-American character, or do we leave the motherfucker in the farms? Because you get what I'm saying, right? There's a give and take here. Either you keep his origin story true and you risk people being like, it's not realistic for a black person to be a farmer, which is fucking ridiculous. Yeah, or you say, we're going to make a movie for black audiences. And now instead of being a farmer, he's a inner city kid struggling with. So like, what do you feel like is the least dumb way of handling that?
So we've already talked about my opinion on Superman in general. I'm just not into it. I want to see more regular, like, original content. I don't need to see Superman for the 50th time. Yeah. But gun to my head, if I was to do it this way, if they are doing the Black Superman route, which again, still not confirmed, but if they are going to do it, everything you just said would be what my argument was. Fuck it. Let's let the black man be a farmer. Let's let him have the Kansas accent. He's from Kansas. Let's let him have a Kansas accent. Let's let him be apple pie and all that stuff. Let's look everything that Clark Kent is. Just keep him the same. Keep the vibe. The only difference is he's chocolate this time. Why change it to inner city? I'm dealing with a drug addict or being mugged and racial tension. Right. Why? Why does that have to be like, you know? And that would really twist it off for everybody. These white people and black people are expecting an urban black experience. Some white people, not you, would be like, just like, oh man, Tyrone the Superman now, or some of these black people are like, oh, you better check the boxes of what black people like to do. No, fuck it. Piss both of them off and just make him Superman and make him black. I would love that, man. And that's what I'm talking about. Stop the stereotypical stuff. Yes. I'm all for a black person doing regular ass shit.
Yeah, when you said that, it like triggered something in my brain that I was like, oh wow, I wonder what the right way of going about that situation would be. I like what you said. I think I tend to agree with you because it would challenge the notion of what a white role is versus what a black role is in the first place. And I feel like if we're gonna start taking big swings, let's start trying to break down these perceptions about what races are supposed to even act like, as if the black experience is monolithic, like as if every black person has the same experience. You know, I know that a lot of this, right. Yeah, and I know that you guys certainly have struggles that are specific to you. And then in a broader term, everybody's got struggles as well. So, you know, the human experience is different for everyone. You know, there's no person that can, like, I can't be an ambassador for straight people or for white people or for middle-aged men. I don't get to be that, you know. It
is all different strokes for different folks. My thing is, though, like me, I did not grow up in the hood. I did not have a lot of the struggles that, like, the urban viewpoint of what society is. Now, racism is very universal to Black culture. Like, you know, I can live in a gated community with a mansion. I still might get looks and, you know, racial profiled. So that's something that a lot of Black people, regardless of where they are in economically, they can all relate to at times.
Trope writing, I feel like, I also kind of feel like, to be fair to writers who do tend to write two-dimensional characters, like, your female lead protagonist in a horror movie is always going to be 9 times out of 10, she's going to be a virgin. She's going to be a little more puritanical than the rest of the girls. She's going to do less drugs and have less sex. She's going to have like a moment of growth in the third act where she all of a sudden goes from being the victim to now she's pursuing the killer, or she's going to fight back against the killer. You know, jocks are always stupid. Like, I feel like writing in itself, and you are a writer, you can probably speak to this as well. There's roles that need to be filled, almost like on a basketball team, and you've got to get all your players onto the court, and there's archetypes that we need to fill. Like, you need a best friend. Is it going to be Ned from Spider-Man Homecoming, or is it going to be the kid from Invincible that we were just now talking about, or is, you know, like, what model of each of these different roles that you have to fill are you going to use? Because writing's hard, and secondary characters don't get as much development as primary characters.
Well, that analogy you used for basketball was great, because obviously there's roles to fill. Somebody's got to be a guard, somebody's got to be a point guard, someone's got to be, you know, a shooter, and all that offense and all that stuff. But the thing that wins games is the element of surprise. You know, the thing that wins games is, you know, people are expecting old boy to guard somebody, but what if he passes the ball and this guy guards? You know, that's great. That's a good example of storytelling in general. And I think, you know, killing these tropes and killing these stereotypes when it comes to these characters, it's all about expecting the unexpected. We're expecting, you know, the flamboyant gay guy. We're expecting the gangster Black guy. We're expecting the entitled white person. We're expecting the feminist woman. Like, yeah. Why don't we make the hillbilly guy feminist?
That's what was cool to see Zemo flip on us in Falcon and Winter Soldier and start talking about, was it it's not Sinner Man, it's whatever song he was talking about.
Trouble Man.
Man.
Yeah, Marvin Gaye. Yeah. That one threw me off, and you know how much people in the Black community praised that line. They were like, "Oh my God, Zemo's down," you know. Nobody saw that shit. What the hell does Zemo know about Marvin Gaye? But it was great. Those are scenes I live for, man. Those are scenes and character developments I live for. And that's why I respect Marvel too. They are seeming like they're switching up the formula a little bit.
Help keep your brother out the streets. Subscribe to my dad's YouTube channel. Love, peace, and chicken.